when I was in the 4th grade, I had these two friends, Maddie and Emma. The three of us, we were like this, y'all. We would play together every time it was recess. We would always hang out with each other. This one time though, it was time for recess, and for whatever reason, I honestly don't remember, but Maddie and Emma were mad at each other, right? They were beefing for whatever reason, whatever 4th grade beef could be, right? So I remember we were at recess and Maddie and Emma were walking among opposite sides of the track because they were mad at each other and they didn't want to talk to each other. So they were like literally like circling each other like that. And I remember Maddie was like, you know, because she didn't want to talk to Emma, she was like, well, can you tell Emma that I said this? So I ran to the opposite side of the track and I said, hey, Maddie said this. And then Emma was like, well, tell her I say this. So then I run to the opposite side of the track. I'm like, oh, Emma said this. She's like, well, tell her I said this. This continued for pretty much the entire recess. And the reason I bring up this story is because I realized that this pattern kind of continued throughout my friendships, even into adulthood, where I found myself always being the middleman between two girls that could not figure out their beef and that could not talk to each other. And so it was always me in the middle, because they're not beefing with me because I'm chill as fuck. Like, no, but really, like, I noticed that this pattern literally continued into my friendships in my early adulthood. Like, even recently there was a situation where obviously, like, it's not at that same scale. Like, I'm not running back and forth on the track. That's a bit much. But I noticed a recent pattern where it was like this one friend was like, oh, well, so-and-so said this. And then the other person was texting me about it and they were like, oh, well, I'm not talking to so-and-so because this. And then it was always like, why am I always the middleman? I always found myself being in the middle of these two bitches beef. Like, y'all grown as hell, figure your shit out. Anyways, I realized when I was going through that situation, this was like a few months ago, I was like, oh my God, I feel like that little girl in the 4th grade running back and forth on the track again. I feel like that little girl again. And I'm like, you know what? No, we're gonna nip this in the bud. I am not going to let this pattern continue throughout my adulthood because y'all are grown fucking women, okay? Figure your shit out and leave me out of it. Respectfully. Like, I don't understand what, like, I was just tired of it. I'm tired of it. Like, I'm tired of always being that person that's in the middle of y'all's bickering. Anyways, let's talk about female friendships, okay? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Pia. Today we're gonna be talking about female friendships in your 20s. Let's get into it. There have been a lot of realizations that I've had as I'm growing, as I'm evolving as a woman, about the type of women that I want to surround myself with, right? If I'm gonna have standards for the men in my life, why wouldn't I have standards for the women in my life? The women that I'm constantly surrounding myself with, the women that I call my friends. I'm gonna be so real with you. I low-key feel like I have no friends right now. I'm not saying that in like a world's tiniest violin moment. I'm not saying that out of pity or like, oh my God, I'm so alone. It's not even like that. It's just, and I'm not saying I have no friends because, like, yeah, I have people that are like, you know, that I used to hang out with a lot and like I could reach out to them whenever and hang out. But like, to be so honest with you, I feel like I don't have a bestie. I don't. When I was in middle school, I had 2 besties. Shout out Jenny. Shout out Carly. When I was in high school, I had 4 girlfriends. The 5 of us were like this. And once I got to college, I kind of, you know, we kind of distanced ourselves from each other, not because it was any like beef or falling out, but it's just because people grow apart naturally. People move to different places. That doesn't mean that there's any shade between each other. That's just life. But as I got to college, I did make some friends in college, but when I graduated, I'm like, you know, I kind of at a point where I'm like, wow, I really missed having a bestie. I don't have a bestie. I really don't. Like, I have like friends that I could like hang out with and stuff, but like I don't feel like I have a woman in my life that I like am like this with, you know what I'm saying? And I miss that. I really genuinely miss having that just genuine female, whimsical, funny interactions with like my bestie, like sending each other memes all the time and like just being there for each other and always hanging out. Like I feel like I don't have that. And that's okay, because it's a part of life. Sometimes you grow apart, sometimes you know, move to a different city, and that's just how it is. But today I really wanted to talk about female friendships because I found myself feeling, a lot of times throughout the past few years, I found myself feeling very like guilty for no longer wanting to hang out with the same people that I had been hanging out with. Like, for example, when I was in high school, I was a stoner. Truly, I was like, my friend group, we were literally known for being like that group that's always pulling up high as fuck to class. Like, we were just that group of girls that was just always boofing, you know? And I realized that once I graduated, a lot of the people that I also surrounded with myself with were stoners as well, heavy weed users, you know? And as somebody who is on a sobriety journey, who has been trying to get away from weed as much as possible, you know, people like old friends would reach out to me and be like, hey, like, we should like smoke and like go watch a movie. I'm sorry, but I literally, I don't want to do that anymore. That does not entice me any longer. Like, I just, that, if you had asked me a few years ago, oh girl, I'm on the way. But now I'm like, that's it? Like, I feel like that's not a valuable use of my time. I don't know. I'm not saying that I'm not down to ever just chill or whatever, but like, I feel like I'm just like in a place where when I envision female friendships now, it's like I want to have a female friend that like we can build off of each other. We can work toward our goals together. We can hold each other accountable and like better ourselves. And like, I don't feel like I have anybody in my life like that right now. And that's like a little bit, I'm not gonna say it's sad, because it's not like I'm like, oh, I'm so lonely. Like, I still have like my girls that like I'll reach out to sometimes. And so it's not like I'm like lonely like that, but it's also a beautiful thing because it's like, well, this means that like my bestie, because I know she's out there. I just haven't, I haven't met her yet. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. And like, I know she's out there somewhere, probably working on herself. She's funny as fuck, I already know. She's gorgeous. She has her life together. She's disciplined. She has her ducks in a row. Like, she's not perfect, of course, but like, I know that she's out there grinding and I'm over here grinding. And one day in the near future, we're gonna cross paths and we're gonna be like, oh my God, where have you been all my life? And like, I genuinely know that that's gonna happen to me. So like, that's why I don't have any like feelings of sadness about this sort of like, oh, I don't have any friends. Because I do have like friends, but like not in the way that I would like to necessarily. So let's talk about it. Oh my God, I have so much to say. I feel like, you know, when I was in like high school and I had my group of girlfriends, it was very much a thing of like, oh my God, yeah, we're all gonna be at each other's weddings, we're gonna be friends for the rest of our lives, we're gonna be in each other's lives forever, right? And I feel like the more time that passes by, the less realistic that seems. And again, it's not because I have anything against, I have so much love for all of those girls. Like, I truly do. I don't have anything bad to say about any of them. So it's not even like, oh, we fell out, oh, we're beefing. No, girl, it's just life. And you grow apart, and that's okay. And I'm so thankful that I met them when I did, because they, you know, I feel like they served their purpose as a person that was in my life for that time, and they're no longer in my life. And, you know, sometimes we'll still reach out to each other, hey, what's up, da, da, da. Like, actually, one of them commented on my video on my TikTok like yesterday. Again, I have so much love for all of these girls, so it's not even like I'm throwing shade. It's not anything like that. It's just, like I was saying earlier, if I'm gonna have standards for the men in my life, why wouldn't I have standards for the women in my life? Whereas in high school, middle school, elementary school, it's kind of like a proximity effect. You kind of just become friends with those people because you have a class together, or you sit together in the cafeteria or whatever. Like, you kind of like, I'm not gonna say you're forced to be friends, but it's the proximity effect. You're around them for long enough, you're kind of bound to develop some type of relationship, right? So now though, I'm not in school anymore. I already graduated. Hooty hoo. But yeah, I don't have like a community like that anymore, like school offered. And so now it's just kind of like, I guess, balls in my court / I guess I'm just kind of waiting. But I don't want to just like wait until something happens. Let me tell you something. I was at my apartment gym, and when I walked in, typically if I'm not the only person there, there'll be like 1 or 2 more people. But there was this girl on the treadmill. We didn't say anything to each other. She was on the treadmill, I was doing my thing. And then eventually I got on the treadmill, and then she left and did something else. And then at the end of my run on the treadmill, I noticed my peripheral vision, she's going like this. I'm like, look at me? Duh, there's no one else in there. And I'm like, oh, hey. And she shows me her phone. She goes like this. And I was like, oh. And mind you, I'd already taken out my AirPods, but she goes like this, and she showed me her phone, and it was like, hey, so sorry to bother you. It was like a note, basically, that she wrote. She was like, so sorry to bother you. I'm trying to make like new gym friends, da da da. And I was like, oh my God. Immediately I was like, yeah, like, what's your name? Like, we got to know each other. Like, how long have you lived here? Da da da. Like, just chatted it up. And I asked her how old she was, and she was like 6 years younger than me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so old. And honestly, that moment kind of like encouraged me a little bit, because sometimes I feel like, sometimes I'll be in public and I'll see a girl or a group of girls where I'm like, damn, they look cool as fuck. I bet you we would get along. I bet we would be great friends. Obviously you can't judge a book by its cover, but like, you look like the type of woman I want to be around, you know? And you know, sometimes it's just an energy thing, but there's been so many instances where I would like feel that, and then I wouldn't do anything about it. I wouldn't approach them. I wouldn't go and talk to them. And then I would leave being like, damn, that girl was so cool, but like, we didn't have any interactions or anything. And that little moment at the gym earlier, it really kind of encouraged me. I'm like, damn, maybe I should reach out to people more. Maybe I should, you know, in public, maybe I should compliment people more. Just spark up a conversation more, you know, like, and not be embarrassed. Because I felt like I always would feel like, oh, I'm not gonna bother her. Like, I don't want to be like creepy or weird. And like she's probably like in her own world. I don't want to, you know, get in the way of that. But when the girl approached me at the gym, I did not at all feel like, oh my God, leave me alone, I'm trying to work out. I did not at all feel like that. If anything, I was like, oh my God, like, it's so nice to meet you. Like, like, we were just chatting it up. And I'm just like, wow, like, I feel like that moment was just kind of a little light bulb went off in my head, where I'm like, wow, I feel like it encouraged me. And like, now I feel like next time I'm in public and I see a girl, I'm not gonna resist that urge anymore to like go up to her, you know? So shout out to that girl at my apartment gym that came up to me today. Another thing that I want to talk about is outgrowing friends, because again, in my particular case, I wouldn't say that I necessarily had like beef with anybody, but I did, like I was talking about earlier, I did kind of outgrow people in the sense of like, I don't really feel like doing the things that I used to do years ago. No, I don't really want to like spark up and go eat some food. Like, that would have been like ideal, my dream date. Like, literally, like, that's all I want to do back then. But like, now I'm just like, that just doesn't appeal to me. Like, why don't we go to the gym together? Why don't we go on a walk together? Why don't we, like, let's grow together, you know? I started to feel like almost guilty when people would ask me to hang out and do that kind of stuff, and I would be like, oh, like, this ties into my people-pleasing video. If you haven't checked that out, you definitely should. But where I would always feel guilty. I would always feel like I needed some crazy excuse for why I can't hang out, for why I can't do this today or whatever. But like, the truth is, I just don't want to, and that's okay, you know? And I felt like I needed to just like let go of that without having resentment toward myself and feeling guilty for like not being interested in doing the bullshit I was doing in high school. You know what I'm saying? Another thing that I noticed, kind of like when I was talking earlier about the pattern where I was always the middleman when the two bitches were beefing, like I always noticed that I would end up being the therapist friend. Because why have we been hanging out? This literally happened with multiple girlfriends where we would hang out and hours would go by. And I notice she's been talking the entire time about herself and her problems, and she hasn't asked me a single fucking question about how I'm doing. Bitch, I'm here too. Hello? Like, what? But at the time, I wouldn't even clock it until like way later. You know what I'm saying? I would like leave that interaction feeling so drained. I would leave that interaction. And you know what's crazy? Like they would even be aware. They would be like, oh my God, I've been talking about myself. Like, how are you doing? They would like, you know, finally, bitch. And then they would ask me one question. And then all of a sudden they go back to talking about themselves. Oh my God, am I, oh, that was like, oh, you asked me that question like as a formality because you realize that you're, okay, right. Like it felt inauthentic. Like you don't actually give a fuck how I'm doing. And I'm like, okay, so I actually don't recall clocking in as your therapist. I'm not doing that. Now, there's nuance to this because as a friend, of course, I want to be there for you. I want to hear what you're going through. I want to like hear you out. Like, let's talk about it. Like, what's going on? But it gets to a point where like I started to feel like I was being used for my energy, for my time, for my, I'm not even gonna say wisdom, but like I feel like people would like, come to me for like advice or like just for me to hear them out, and I would leave that interaction feeling so drained. I wouldn't leave that interaction feeling like, oh my God, that was so fun that I hung out with her. No, I would leave feeling like, oh my God, I feel like she just needed to like use me as a sounding board for all the shit in her head, which is, again, there's nuance to it, but like I should not leave an interaction with a friend feeling that way. I should leave an interaction with a friend feeling like, oh my gosh, that was so much fun. I love her, crazy girl, you know, like, and I haven't felt that way. I've been feeling kind of drained, to be honest. And I'm just like, why? It gets to a point where I'm like, okay, well, I'm allowing that. Like, maybe they don't even realize, you know what I'm saying? But me continuing to hang out with these people and, you know, like use me in that way, it's like, okay, at a certain point, like I'm enabling it. So I have to look within, look in the mirror and realize that like, I'm the one who's allowing this behavior. Yeah, and honestly, I never, like, I never even had like official friendship breakups. It wasn't anything like that, to be honest. I kind of just started distancing myself and not going out with them as much. Or one shorty I actually ghosted because actually she was on some weird shit. But the reason I ghosted, which honestly, I don't think ghosting is a good thing. I think you should, like, if you have something to say, you should talk about it. But in my situation, I had zero interest in keeping this person in my life. Zero. Like, there was no opportunity for like, oh, like maybe, you know, we can talk it out. No, I don't want you in my life. Like, this person, again, it wasn't beef, but it was just like the way this person was moving and like talking to me sometimes. I'm like, oh, you think you're bigger than the program. Yeah, like, I was like, no, I don't want you in my life anymore. So I'm not gonna, the only reason I would like have an official conversation was if I wanted to talk it out and, hey, let's resolve this. I want you in my life still. But because I didn't want that, girl, bye. I don't care. Anyways, so now I'm just at a point where I'm like, okay, maybe the ball is in my court. Maybe it's my turn to be like that girl at the gym today that came up to me. Maybe it's my turn to, you know, go up to somebody and be like, hey, I really like your hair. I really like your outfit. Like, what's your name? But like, just spark up a conversation. I think the reason why I felt almost like discouraged is because I remember this one time I was like feeling like there was a girl that I went to college with, super cool, like she was Latina baddie too. I was like, like I fucked with her, and we had like a class project together, and after I graduated I was like, yo, I should reach out to her, like she was cool as fuck. And I like hit her up. I was like, hey, like we should hang out. She answered, she was like, oh my god, yeah, we absolutely should. I was like, bet, like I'm in town, you know, let me know whenever, like, what your schedule looks like. Never heard back from her. And I feel like that for me was like a little bit discouraging, but also like that was one person. I'm not gonna let that stop me from reaching out to people, spreading my love and my kindness and my friendship and my laughter. Like, it's time for me to, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe I should slide in some DMs or something. Anyways, I'm challenging myself and I'm challenging you this week to reach out to somebody. I already have a person in mind, actually. Yeah. And I know she fucks with me, so I feel like it wouldn't be that hard. But yeah, reach out to somebody. Maybe it's somebody that you like wanted to rekindle a friendship with that you haven't seen in a while, or maybe it's like an old friend, or maybe it's someone that you've never spoken to before, but you're like, yo, she seems cool as fuck. Like, I want to get to know her, you know? I feel like, yeah, my 20s right now are not about keeping every single friendship alive that I had in the past. I feel like now it's just, let's make room for, again, I know my future besties out there. Like, I know it. I feel it from the bottom of my soul. Like, I know she's out there. We just haven't met yet. And that's a beautiful thing because, I don't know, I think about her a lot. I'm like, I wonder what she's doing. Is that weird? But yeah, I challenge you, reach out to somebody. You know, maybe y'all could plan something. I'm gonna be doing the same challenge. I'm gonna be reaching out to a girl, maybe a few girls, and be like, yo, like, what are you doing this weekend? Or like, hey, we should, da-da-da. Like, I want to expand my circle of women. I feel like women just have this beautiful energy when they come together, and I really miss the just pure laughter and sisterhood that I experienced throughout middle school and high school. Like, I really miss that sisterhood a lot. So I'm actually very excited to reach out to some people and see what's tea, like, what you doing this week? But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I could honestly make a part 2 because there's so much to say about female friendships and navigating them throughout your 20s. But if you enjoy this type of content, make sure to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe because I make videos like this every single Saturday. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week.